Yeah, so we've got Neo presenting today, who's our community manager, and myself, the technical communications manager, Jazmin, and Barry's going to be recording for us today. So thanks everyone for joining, and we're going to be discussing Maxima, and we'll also be showing you a MiniDapp, which is MaxSolo. And hopefully you're already familiar with this if you're running a node. So we're just going to go through some of the basics to do with Maxima and the difference between Minima and Maxima, and then how to use MaxSolo with your node. So just to kind of give you a quick introduction as to what Maxima actually is, it's kind of unique in the blockchain space. So obviously we have Minima, which is the blockchain itself, but because we have such a wide peer-to-peer network with all of our Minima nodes, and everyone can just run it from their phone or from their desktop, we can actually have this off-chain layer which allows you to send not tokens like you can send on Minima, but information and data to anyone else on the Minima peer-to-peer network. And there's no third parties involved here, and there's no companies collecting and selling your data. So this is purely taking advantage of this vast peer-to-peer network that Minima has, and gives people the ability to send messages to people over that network. And if we compare it to Minima, Minima is the blockchain layer. You have your Minima peers that you're sending transactions and blocks to, and this is handled by the peer-to-peer system that we have, and that's automatic. Whereas on Maxima, you actually have your Maxima contacts, and you can choose who these people are. So these will be your friends, your family members, and you can add these people as your Maxima contacts so that you can send messages to them. And moving on to MaxSolo, what MaxSolo does is it combines the Minima blockchain with this Maxima peer-to-peer messaging layer to give you a chat application where you can send messages to your friends and family, and you can send coins and tokens over the Minima blockchain. So that's just a bit of a brief overview, an introduction into Maxima and MaxSolo. And I'm going to hand over to Neo, who's going to show you how MaxSolo works and how you can add your Maxima contacts, so your friends and your family members, so that you can send them messages and tokens.
Yeah.
So yeah, feel free to go ahead,
Okay.
Neo.
So we're gonna go through two different parts. Firstly, we're gonna go over the MaxSolo MiniDapp, like itself. So it's pretty straightforward when you open it. If you don't have any contacts, then you'll have the option to either share your address or add a contact. Before doing any of this, though, we're going to set the name. Okay, this is the most important thing. When you open MaxSolo for the first time, you will be named no name, and you'll have to set your name. So in the MiniDapp, it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is get to the set profile, and then you'll put your name in there, that name. And if you're following the live stream, you'll see that it's pretty easy to do. You give it a few seconds, it'll update. I'll go through all of this in the terminal as well. So everything we're pretty much doing on Maxima, you can do the same in the terminal through commands. But first things first, I'm going to go to share profile. This will give me my address. So this is my address. This address lasts about, I think it's, at the moment it's 20 minutes or something like that, Jazmin. Then
Yeah.
eventually it'll be much longer, just for practical reasons. So I'm gonna add Jazmin.
So if you put your profile in the chat, Neo, I can add you.
Yeah, anybody can add me. So feel free to add me if you want to.
when I add Neo, he will automatically see me show up in his contacts as well.
I mean, I'll have to refresh it. But what you can do is you come here over to your terminal, and it was, oh well, there you go. It's appearing now. So essentially, it'll show you whenever somebody adds you, whenever you send a message to anybody. If you can display the detailed logs from Maxima. This is pretty much only for developers, but it's useful nevertheless. Now if I refresh MaxSolo, I've got all of you. So for the purpose of this call, Jazmin, and I can send you tokens. I'll just send her 1 minima because I'm kind of cheap. And here it'll say, as usual, you can either run the command in the terminal, or I can go to the MDS hub directly, which is what I'm going to do. Go to pending transactions, and there I can accept the transaction. There you go. So normally Jazmin will have that minima soon.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that if you go back to your hub Neo,
Yeah.
where your mini dApps are, then
Uh,
if you click on pending transactions, main menu. So the only reason that Neo had to accept that pending transaction there is because MaxSolo is set as a read application. And so you can see on his MaxSolo app there it says read. And that's good practice because you don't want MiniDapps to be able to just spend funds from your wallet without you approving. But if it is an app that you trust and that you know is not malicious, then you can change the permissions here to write. And that will mean that when you try to send somebody coins through MaxSolo, it's not going to ask you to approve that transaction. It will go directly from your wallet.
Yep. So Jazmin, are you gonna send me any minima, or are we?
I can send you some minima.
Whatever order we're doing it in. I'm
going to send you an image as well.
Go ahead. Fancy. Arnie as well. D is for decentralization. Okay. So now if I go back to my wallet, where is it? It's at the bottom. If I go to my wallet, and I click on minima, I've got 19 unconfirmed minima. I imagine that's you, Jazz, or is
That was from you
before?
sending one to me, so that's waiting
Oh,
to be
okay.
returned to you.
Now I've got a new balance update, so I go back to the balance page. I'll have to wait because the tokens that I've been sent are custom ones. Yeah, well, we can go back to that after. In the meantime, we're going to go over the terminal commands. So it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is type help. You'll get all the commands available to you in the terminal. What we're looking at today is Maxima and Max Contacts. Now, if you do help, that's not what I meant to do. Help command and then semicolon Maxima, it will give me essentially a more detailed explanation as to what I can do with this command. It gives you the formats that are necessary for it. You can do the same with Max Contacts. And so essentially you can, instead of using the MaxSolo MiniDapp, you can add your contacts directly in the terminal. Jazmin, let me know if I'm missing anything. I don't want to be burning through it.
That would be more of a kind of developer option. For example, if you wanted to create a mini dApp that used Maxima, then this is how you would this is how you would use the commands to add contacts and send messages and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
so if you run the Maxima command,
yeah. Oh,
hello, can you still hear me?
yeah. If I run the Maxima command, essentially it'll give me some information as to my own contact address. So this is the one I mean, it might be different, but this is essentially the contact address you want to be sharing with someone that you want them to add you. But then you can also have different address types. So you'll have the local identity address, which is an address that only people on your local network can use to add you.
I think I've lost you.
Jazz? Well, sounds like I mean, can you hear me? If I mean, go. I'm waiting for a confirmation message in the chat. You can hear me. Okay, cool. So I think it's just Jazmin. I'll keep going
Maybe
until
it's
her
me. I
issue's
can't hear
fixed.
you yet.
Let me send her a message quickly. Okay. So yes, local identity is for people on your local network. MLS is the Maxima location service. This is an address that is like you can't use it. If someone tries to add you with this address, it's not going to do anything. Essentially, it's an address that will be communicated to your contacts to give them your location where you are. I don't think it's a physical location. I'm not sure. I have to ask Jazmin. But yes, you can't really use this. It's more so for developers. And then the public key, which is also a developer thing. You can sign your transaction with your public key. That's a little more in depth. So, Jazmin?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, I just went through the. Ooh, my. I just went through the Maxima command. Now I'm gonna go through the max contacts. So, well, there's a lot of information here because I have 4 contacts, and if I had 100 contacts, I would have a lot more information. But essentially, when you run max contacts, it will tell you who you've got added. So here you'll see that my name is Neo. That's because I set it earlier in the MaxSolo MiniDapp. And here, this is Arnie. So Arnie is in my contact list, and his ID is 2. And basically, I can use this number to remove him from my contacts list if I wish. Same goes for anybody else that I've got on my contacts list. So we've got Jazmin, who's number 3, and then Barry, who's number 4. This is all useful information. It's also developer-related information.
The coins landed in your wallet now.
Yeah, let me. Oh yeah, it's here. Let me just refresh. So I got a long shot. I got 200 unconfirmed long shot. That comes from Barry. I like the picture. Then the D for decentralization, which is what you sent me, Jazmin, and it's confirmed. And some Eurobudda token that was sent to me by Arnie. Now, I think, is there anything else we want to go through except for deleting contacts, Jazz? I can't hear you.
So, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good. Yeah, if you want to show deleting contacts, and then we can give everyone a little sneak peek into the new version that's coming out soon.
Okay. As always, 2 different ways of deleting a contact. Either you can do it through the MiniDapp itself. So this is really, really straightforward. Thanks to Arnie. And otherwise, I mean, I'll just do it now, but let's say I remove Barry from my list. Well, Barry's been removed, and normally, hold on. the chat has disappeared as well. But if I'd like to remove somebody through the terminal, then all I have to do is max contacts, action, remove, and then ID. And here I can just pick the person I want to remove. So since I've already removed Barry, I can remove Arnie, which has an ID of 2. And now Arnie's been removed. If I go back to the MaxSolo MiniDapp, I'm not sure if it'll refresh. I'll just refresh it myself. So as you can see, Arnie's no longer in the chat list. We've got a new user though. Feel free to add me. You've got my address. But that's that for
I
MaxSolo.
think it's important to note here that when you delete someone from your contact list, you also delete yourself from their contacts. So if you fall out with someone or someone's trolling you and you reserve the right to be forgotten, by deleting them from your contacts, you also remove their ability to contact you.
Yeah, that's right. Do we have any questions so far? So if you have any questions, just feel free to pop them in the chat. You can get to the chat by clicking on the chat icon in the top right of the English voice channel.
Hold on. I'm noticing a question in the chat. So Jonas, you're asking how you can run these dApps on your Mac. Running the MiniDapp hub on the Mac is different. Essentially, you'll have to go through the local host address, except before you go to 9003, you need to go to 9004, and you need to authorize it. And this is only for Mac. Okay, it's only for Mac devices. Once you've done that, you go back to 9003, and all your MiniDapps will work. Or not.
So if you're already running your node, then just put a link to the docs there that explains how to access your MiniDapp hub. If you don't have it running already, then you can use this link to get started. And for Android, you just need to download the app from the Google Play Store, and then your home page will show you all of the MiniDapps. They'll be pre-installed.
Jazmin, you were going to share your screen from your phone, no?
I can share my screen.
It'll disconnect you from the call, though.
Shouldn't do.
A little sneak peek.
I think, okay, we have 2 live streams going.
Yeah, I can remove my live stream now.
Okay. So in the mobile app, this is what it looks like. So this is my home page. This is the MaxSolo app. And here's a chat with Neo. Just say hello.
Yeah.
Neo should be able to see that now. Oh, you've stopped sharing. That's okay.
Ooh, yeah, but I can reply.
Hi. Cool. And here is the main menu in the top left here. So I can add a new contact. If somebody shares me their contact address, I can add that in. I can also delete contacts, set my profile. So this is the current version. And if I just go back, I can show you the latest version that's currently work in progress. So we have a refresh icon at the top, which is going to just refresh your contacts, and a simple UI here where I can change my profile name. And I can copy my address so that I can share that with other people. If I select on Neo's name, I can easily share his contact address with somebody else, or I can delete the chat, or I can remove him from my contacts. and I can send tokens, send to Minima. Okay, this is pending. So from the mobile app, accepting a pending command looks a little bit different. When you come back to the home page, you'll notice I have this clock at the top here, and I have a pending command from MaxSolo. If I long press, so hold it down, then I can accept it, and it's going to run this command to send to Neo. I'll just wait for that to run, and then I can see that that's run successfully. So Neo should receive that shortly.
Yeah.
It's also worth probably just showing you how to update an app quickly. So I could do it with MaxSolo, but I'm actually not running the latest version of the wallet here. So this is version 1.13.9. Hopefully you can see that in the very bottom corner there. And here's my coins. My balance is changing as I've just sent some tokens. If I want to update the version of the wallet, because as we release new MiniDapps, the MiniDapps that you have installed on your node won't update automatically. So you can go to our website, minidapps.minima.global, if you're running it on desktop or a server. But if you're running it on the Android, you can go to the Dapp store, and this is where you'll find all of the latest apps. And here you can see I've got 1.13.12 is the latest version of the wallet. So I'm going to download that. So just download that from the App Store. So that's going to go into my phone downloads folder. And then I'm going to go back to my own home page. So these are my apps. And then I'm going to hold down, long press on the wallet here. This is where I can see the details. I can update it. I can change the permissions as well. So like we saw earlier when Neo was looking at read-write access for MaxSolo, you can set the permissions for each MiniDapp here. So I'm going to keep it as read just because that's best practice. But I'm going to update this to the next version. So update, then I need to go to my downloads folder in my phone, and I can see here I've got the latest version of the wallet. Just tap that, and I can see I've updated this MiniDapp. So once we release a new version of MaxSolo, you can repeat the process with the MaxSolo MiniDapp, update to the latest version. So does anyone have any questions on any of that?
There is a chat room. As we explained at the start, you can just put your messages there.
Do some typing.
That's Barry.
I see you have 2 MaxSolos. If I did not update wallet, would you have 2 installed? Yeah. So if I didn't update it, I would see 2 versions of the wallet, just like I see here with the 2 MaxSolos. So I've got this 2.0 version, and then I've got the 2.2.2.
Yes, Joan. At the moment, the addresses only change every 20 minutes. But if you do add a contact, that contact is added permanently. Even if you disconnect, even if you lose Wi-Fi, whatever, even if your node goes offline, once you come back online, that's what the MLS address is for, the Minima Location Service. Essentially, your contact will be able to find you and automatically get the information back.
Yeah, so currently, as long as you're online every 24 hours, your contacts will always be able to find you. We are looking to make some changes there so that it is longer, because it's quite common for people to be offline for more than 24 hours. So we're trying to extend that. But yeah, once you've added your contacts, all of your contacts will use your MLS to find where you are. So even though your contact address is changing, they'll always be able to find you. And you should see also at the top now we've got notifications. So when somebody sends you a message, you can see I've got a notification from MaxSolo, from Eurobuddha, and also a message from the wallet telling me that my balance has changed. Get notified.
It didn't work.
Oh, because I had MaxSolo open.
That's unfortunate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
We'll have a different address for you. Yeah. Okay. If there's no more questions there, I think we'll leave it for today.
Mm-hmm.
Do some typing.
We'll have some more workshops in January, I imagine, Jazz,
Yes.
around that time. So we'll go over other mini dApps and other functionalities. And as always, these calls will be recorded. So if you want to take a look at them later down the road, then you can on YouTube.
Yeah. Just checking any more
Okay.
questions.
No, it's just Barry. It's going on an information spree. Yeah, someone has to. That's correct.
How about all the dApps updated if the Minimap is updated to if we download the latest version? So if you're installing over the top, for example, Google Play, through Google Play, it just updates the app, but that doesn't give you the latest version of the mini dApps automatically. So you would have to go to the dApp store to get them. Unless you're doing a fresh install, so you've uninstalled Minima and then you're reinstalling it, that's the only time that you would get all of the latest installed by default.
I'm pretty sure Docker with the Watchtower container automatically updates your mini dApps to the latest version. If it updates your nodes, it'll pull the latest mini dApps as well.
Sure.
I don't know. I thought I noticed that happen on my device.
I think you would have to still go to the App Store, but yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
only
okay.
on the initial install.
Hmm. All right. Well, I think that's it for the call.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, as always, if you have more questions, just put them in the English chat or app chat, probably better, and we'll get back to you. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.